Good morning, Year 3, and welcome to your first distance learning English lesson. This week we're going to be talking a little bit about newspapers, and today we're going to be trying to write some sentences for a newspaper article. But first, we need to know what a newspaper is. A newspaper gives information, and it could be about lots of different things, and that's my first question to you. What might a newspaper article actually be about? What might it be about? See if you can pause the video for a minute and see if you can think of maybe 3 different topics or things a newspaper article might be about. Have a go and I'll put some answers onto my board behind me. 3 topics or 3 things that a newspaper article might be about. Welcome back, Year 3. I've just put a few answers onto the board. A newspaper article could be about politics, could be about the weather, could be about science. There's lots of sport in newspapers, could be about celebrities or different people. So lots and lots of things a newspaper article could be about. But it should be factual, containing information or true facts about different people or events. The next question on my board says, how is a newspaper different to a story? If you have a newspaper at home you can look at, that would be great. If not, you can use the one I have in front as a little bit of an example. But first of all, I'll just show you a storybook. This is just a normal chapter book. As you can see, very similar to a book you would read in school. Just lots and lots of writing and different chapters. How is that different to a newspaper? Now, if you haven't got a newspaper in front of you, it might be worth pausing the video whilst I have the newspaper on the screen so you can have a think about how those 2 things are different. I'm just going to hold it in front so that you can pause the video if you would like. So go away for a few minutes and see if you can write down maybe 4 or 5 things different from a newspaper and a storybook. How are they different? 5 different things. Have a go and I'll pause the video, and when you unpause it, I'll put some answers onto the board. Well done, Year 3. Now I've added a few answers onto the board and maybe we'll have some of the same answers. Colour. There's lots of colour in a newspaper. Lots of storybooks you read will have lots of pictures in, but some, like the one I showed you, does not have any pictures in, and definitely not any colour. But a newspaper will have often quite a lot of colour. Photographs. If you read a storybook, there might be lots of drawn illustrations, pictures, but in a newspaper there'll be actual photographs that have been taken, photographs with a camera. There might be some new words we learned this week. Headline is a new word. Headline is like the title for that article, for that piece of writing. The one on the front here just says local heroes. And this man has been doing lots of good things in his community, and that's the title for this newspaper article, Local Heroes. So the headline is like the title, and they're often very short and may even sometimes have words beginning with the same letter. We've said titles as well as a headline. Sometimes there are subtitles, smaller titles inside the articles. Smaller titles inside the articles as well as the headline. So they're like titles, they're like headlines, but they're smaller ones inside the article. Captions. Captions goes with photographs. A caption tells you what is happening in the photograph. So if there is a photograph in the newspaper article, a caption would say what is happening in that photograph. And finally, columns. A normal storybook is just written right across the page, whereas a newspaper article is written in Columns, as you can see, we haven't got right to the end of the line. We get halfway across and then we start a new line. That's why that's one column, and next to it is another column. So it's written in columns. So a few things you may have picked out, and maybe a few new words as well. Well done if you noticed any of those things. Our activity for today is to write some sentences that will be in our own newspaper article. When you write a newspaper article, it will be written in the past tense. You're writing about something that's already happened because you want to be telling the person reading your newspaper about something that's happened and about an event that's happened. So we need to make sure we remember that. We're writing about something that's already happened. This will be the worksheet that I've attached today for you to complete. It looks like a newspaper article, and your job is just to answer these 4 questions. And this one is about the gingerbread man, the story of the gingerbread man. Obviously, we know that's not a real story, but we're going to pretend that it is, and we're going to write a newspaper article about that story. And you just have to answer these 4 questions. And I've written the first one onto the board, and we can maybe do that one together, just to give you some ideas. First question at the top of the sheet says, what happened to the gingerbread man? And you just have to write 1 or 2 sentences, if you can, saying what happened to that gingerbread man. Maybe say when it happened, and give a little bit of information about what happened to that gingerbread man. I'm going to put one onto the board. Maybe whilst I'm writing my answer onto the board, you can pause the video and see if you can think of 1 or 2 sentences that you could write about what happened to the gingerbread man, just to start off that newspaper article. When somebody first reads the article, they just need a little bit of information to decide if they want to carry on reading. So can you give this reader a little bit of information about what happened to that gingerbread man? Well done, Year 3. I've answered that first question on the board. The question was, what happened to the gingerbread man? So I've written, I'm talking about something that's already happened. Yesterday, you can say when you think it's happened. Yesterday, a gingerbread man escaped from a house on Sunny Lane. I've made up the place, that's fine as well. He ran straight out of the village and into the woods. So I've just given a little bit of information about what that newspaper article is going to be about. And I've written 2 sentences. Now your job is to complete that newspaper article, answering those 4 questions. If you don't think you've got space to answer those 4 questions, you could start it, but maybe finish it on the next page if you need to, because it is only quite a small space. If you finish all of that, you can add a picture to go with your newspaper article, and there is also a space at the top here to add a headline, a title for your newspaper article. Gingerbread man escapes, the escaped gingerbread man on the loose, whatever you want your title, your headline to be. And if you finish all of that and you still have time, which I don't expect anybody to, but if you do and you want one more thing to do, I've also attached an extra activity where you just have to match the headline with the correct newspaper article. Cut them out and stick them next to each other. And it looks like this. So you would cut out the headline and match up with the correct newspaper article. If you get that far, but that's probably quite a lot of work to do for just one lesson. Remember, the Google Meet link will be added onto Edmodo, so do keep an eye out for that. I would love you to come on and read out some of your sentences, and we can check them together. It's a great way to check that your answers are clear and they make sense. And once you have completed it, if you can, get somebody to help you photograph that work and email it across to me, and then I can have a read of your completed piece of work. Very well done for finding the video today and listening. I look forward to seeing your work.